Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and who enjoyed my video on what the Premier League would look like without the top six? Well, enough of you liked and commented and quite frankly demanded a part 2 that I just had to. I was worried for my safety if I didn't. Okay, there wasn't that much demand, but whatever, it's here. Part 2 of my what if the Big Six left the Premier League experiment. In part 1 we got new winners of the top flight. We start off with Leicester winning their second ever Premier League, but after that we had fresh winners, with Everton winning back-to-back titles to cement themselves as the new top team on Merseyside. We also had shock performances from the likes of Bristol City, while we had fresh domestic cup winners every year. All the while, the so-called top six are stuck in the English Super League, doing nothing because I cocked up the league. But that's fine, that's their own fault for wanting to have the cake and eat it. When we left things, Everton were toasting back-to-back Premier League titles, but the top flight is as competitive as it's ever been, so let's simulate 3 more years into the future and see if the excitement continues. Okay, so here we are in 2022, this is where we left the simulation last time out. Everton won the Premier League, beating Burnley at the title by 3 points. Let's simulate a year in the future, let's see if Everton can make it a hat-trick of Premier League titles, let's go. Okay, here we are, 1 more year into the future, 9th of June 2023, and as you can see there is a new name on the Premier League trophy. It is Burnley. Sean Dyche's workmen-like Burnley, new money Burnley, have won the Premier League, and they've done it by a point, pipping Everton to the title, the new big dogs of the English Premier League. They've pipped them to the title by just 1 point, and they got it done on the final day. Incredible, incredible stuff here. More and more drama in the Premier League now the Big Six have buggered off. Everton had it in their hands going into the final day. Even if they'd just drawn against Brentford on the final day, they would have won it. But no, they were beaten 3-1 by the relegated team. And as for Burnley, they drew 2-2 with Newcastle at home, allowing them to topple Everton, go 1 point above them. Goal difference was in their favour, meaning Sean Dyche's men are the Premier League champions. Let's have a look at this game, Burnley 2, Newcastle 2. Let's see how... Surely there was even more drama in this. Let's see what happened. Okay, there wasn't that much drama actually. They fell behind, Miguel Almiron put Newcastle in front, then Burnley were 2-1 up. They were winning up until the 89th minute when Joe Linton scored. I mean, can you really win the Premier League if Joe Linton scored against you? Not great, but never mind. So Burnley, Premier League champions, Everton just behind them in second. They have been the best team in this simulation so far. Brighton once again in the top 4, and there's Leicester down in 4th. Wolves 5th. Watford also doing well in 6th, and Newcastle just out of the European Cup places in 7th. Bristol City doing well again. Going down though, Preston have done really bad, only 20 points on the board, and they'll be joined back in the Championship by Swansea and the aforementioned Brentford. And look at the stats here, Neil Maupay is the top scorer once again. I think he won it before, he got 20 goals. He's been brilliant during this new era of the Premier League. Just pipping Fabio Silva at the top spot, he got 18. And there's an interesting name in third there, Troy Parrott of West Brom. Tottenham fans will know all about him. Massively hyped. Well, he's just joined West Brom for £22 million from Spurs, who have been playing football somewhere, not really sure where, but he's back in the Premier League and he got 17 goals in 36 games for the Baddies in his first season. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from him. Let's check out the champions Burnley. Sean Dyche obviously still the manager. Chris Wood's the skipper. Dwight McNeil's the key player. There's no one swept up their players. Let's have a look at the schedule. Ben May had a testimonial against Man City, they lost. Beautiful stuff. They've even... Oh my god, Burnley even won the Europa League. What a season Burnley have had. They got to the Europa League final and they've beaten Real Sociedad 3-0 there. I can't believe what's happened here. They've had an incredible season. Even if they did get knocked out of the Champions League, that's fine. They had a hard group, Porto, AC Milan and PSG. The Clarets, man, the top team in English football. No one can stop them. Let's have a quick look at the Champions League actually, see if the English clubs did anything. It's been won by Borussia Dortmund. We'll have a look at the group stages, see if any of the English clubs made it through. Bristol City were knocked out of their group against Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. That was pretty hard. Everton made it through theirs. They're improving in Europe. Who else have we got? Brighton came rock bottom of theirs. Real Madrid, Wolfsburg and Roma. That's a really hard group. They got a point though, not bad. And as we say, Burnley came third. But it didn't matter because they went on to win the Europa League and the Premier League title, which I think is probably even better. The League Cup, let's see who won that. We've got Norwich, another new name on the cup. Doing it for Mike Bassett. In the final, Norwich beat Fulham 1-0. See, I mean, this is brilliant. New teams every year competing for honours. There's none of this Man City every year or Liverpool every year. It's different, it's exciting, and it's bloody fun. Let's have a look at the FA Cup. West Ham have won a trophy. West Ham have won the FA Cup, and in the final they beat Leicester after extra time. A dramatic game at Wembley. Pablo Fornals in extra time for the 10 men of West Ham. Correct, they played most of extra, well, they played all of extra time with only 10 men. Ruben Semedo sent off, but it didn't matter. Leicester haven't really been very good since they won the league. Let's check them out. They've sacked the manager again. Luis Enrique was the man who replaced Brendan Rodgers, but now Enrique has been sacked. I mean, big names are still coming to the Premier League, and they're getting sacked. I mean, that's wow. Let's have a look at the Championship. Let's see who's coming up this year. Forest, after being relegated, have beaten their biggest rivals, Derby, in the playoffs. Bournemouth won the title with 96 points, and Stoke are coming back to the Premier League as well after they were relegated. Are there any shocks here who almost getting into the Premier League? Barnsley, that's a shock. I believe they were once upon a time in the Premier League back in the day. They made it to the playoffs but were beaten by Forest, who eventually went up. Who else have we got? Charlton not too far off the playoffs, but not too big a change in the guard. So that's one thing to know from this simulation, that it's getting there's a lot of teams who are coming up and going down. We'll see if that changes over the coming years. But we're back to the Premier League here. Aston Villa have survived, that's good to see. I mean, there's some big clubs here in the Premier League. Leeds haven't done too well, they became 11th. Pedro Martin's the manager now, but I don't know who he is. Who's in charge of Newcastle? It's Dean Smith now. Eddie Howe's gone. I wonder where he's gone. No, Eddie Howe got the sack a while ago, and Philip Cocker came in and then he got the sack. Has Eddie Howe got a job now? No, he's unemployed. Tough tits for Eddie Howe, but Burnley, man, Premier League champions, 78 points. They only lost 4 games all season. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. They drew a lot, but it was a draw that won them the title in the end. Let's simulate another year into the future. Let's see if Burnley can defend their crown. You know, this is Burnley have won 2 major trophies this year. Let's simulate another year. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are, the 8th of June 2024, another year into the future, and as you can see, we've got another new Premier League winner. This time, it's the Seagulls, it's Brighton. They won the title by 2 points, and it's Everton once again who came runners-up. 69 points they got, 2 shy of Brighton, but it didn't matter. Brighton already had it wrapped up by the final day. They drew 1-1 with Leeds to take that to 71 points. Meanwhile, Everton beat Southampton 1-0, but the gap was too big, they couldn't catch them. So Everton once again second. But I mean, what we're going to see from here is Everton are the consistent team. There's a lot of change in and around the top 8 really. Leicester are normally there, Wolves have normally been there, Burnley pretty consistent. But Brighton have been a team on the up in recent years. It's Patrick Vieira who's the manager. I think he's been the manager for a while now. Yeah, he's into his 4th year as manager, replacing Graham Potter who doesn't exist by the looks of things. I can't even click on him. But Patrick Vieira, a big name who's now won a major trophy. Brighton are the Premier League champions. And there's been a shock in the relegation. Bristol City have gone down. Bristol City have been amazing. They've been the success story of this whole simulation. They came up from the Championship straight away, and then they nearly won the title. They came 2nd, followed that up with 3rd, then they were down to 8th, and now they've been relegated. That's the unpredictable nature of this new Premier League with no elite clubs. Teams can finish anywhere, nothing's guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to finish in the top 4, you're not even guaranteed to survive. Aston Villa have survived though, yet again they came 17th, so you know, good for them. Last season's champions Burnley, they came 4th, so once again they've qualified for the Champions League by virtue of their league position. Wolves, I'm surprised Wolves aren't doing better. They've came 6th, Fabio Silva once again with another brilliant season. This time he's won the Golden Boot with 17. Joined there by Troy Parrott, he's doing well with West Brom. The Baggies mid-table, so they might struggle to keep a hold of Troy Parrott the way things are going. Let's check out the champions Brighton. Let's have a look at their schedule, see how else they got on in their other competitions. They won the League Cup. They beat Aston Villa 3-1 in the final, so they've celebrated a double just like Burnley did the year before. FA Cup they were knocked out early, and it doesn't look like they've done nothing in Europe. They came bottom of their Champions League group, which was a tough group. Juventus, Borussia Dortmund and Celtic. Poor from Brighton, but you know, they're going to get better in Europe, you'd like to think, as time goes by. Let's have a look at the FA Cup, see if we've got a new name on that trophy. As we can see here, Brighton were knocked out in the 3rd round by Wolves. And it's Crystal Palace. Have Crystal Palace won trophy since this new simulation kicked off? They won the final 2-0 with a brace from Dominic Calvert-Lewin to beat West Brom. 55 million rated Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's got a good season, 13 goals for Crystal Palace. They come third, I think I said. They came third with Steve Cooper as manager. Yerry Mina, the skipper. Wilfried Zaha still there. Is he doing well? Not really. Did well the season before, but that's fine. He's still there. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. We're an inconsistent Crystal Palace side who are now celebrating silverware. I'm going to check see if they've actually won anything. I feel like they might have done. No, I've told a lie. This was the best season they've ever really had. Winners of the FA Cup and third in the Premier League. So maybe want to keep an eye on. But as I say, in the FA Cup, Crystal Palace beating West Brom 2-0 in the final. Let's go back to the Premier League. Let's have a look at who's been relegated. As we mentioned, Bristol City. And two teams who just came back up, Stoke City and Bournemouth. Those two teams turned into yo-yo clubs, which isn't good for them. Who else came up last season? Nottingham Forest, they survived with 44 points. Let's have a look at Leicester, because I noticed at the start they've sacked another manager. Let's see who it was this time. Julian Lopetegui's been sacked. That's another big name coming into Leicester City. At the minute, Everton are everything Leicester wish they could be. They're not consistent. When was the last time Leicester even finished in the top four? Last season. They came fourth. That was a ridiculous thing to say. But they haven't really followed up their success of the first year where they won the title. I think they won one cup competition. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, which is nice, I guess. How much did he cost? 42 million. He's doing very well, so that's good for Callum Hudson-Odoi. But overall, Leicester have been poor 7th there into the Europa Conference League, which is where no one wants to be. We'll have a look at the Champions League. Let's see how these teams have been getting on. If English teams keep struggling, does that mean they'll lose their coefficient? I'm not quite sure. It hasn't changed yet. We've still got 4 teams in the Champions League, but we'll have a look here. Burnley came top of the group. And it wasn't a bad group, actually. Lazio, Dinamo Zagreb and RB Salzburg. As far as easy Champions League groups go, you can't really ask for much more than that. Let's see how far they got. Christ, imagine if they won it. Yeah, they got the quarterfinals. They knocked Benfica out in the first knockout round. That's pretty good. And then they were beaten just 1-0 by Bayern Munich. A Leroy Sané goal at the Allianz. Let's go back to the Champions League. Let's see what everyone else did. Go to the group stages. I've lost it. There we are. So Brighton came bottom of their group. Just a point again, so they're really struggling. Leicester made it through their group. Up against Porto, Shakhtar and Real Madrid. Go to the first knockout round. And they were beaten by Ajax. And what happened to Everton? Did they not make it through their group? Did I miss them? There they are, sorry. Group C. They came third. Just pipped by Benfica, who were beaten by Burnley the next round. Let's see how Everton got in the Europa then. They made it to the quarterfinals, where they were knocked out by Valencia. Has there been any English success here? Wolves got to the semis by the looks of things. No, Wolves got to the final. They were beaten by Roma in the final. So an improvement from Wolves, which is nice. Fabio Silva getting on the score sheet. It looks like he's turned into a real key player at Molineux. So maybe it's a sign that Wolves are on the up. Let's go back to the Premier League. We'll have a look. Top assist, Alexis McAllister from Brighton. He must be a top player now. £65 million. That's the best season he's ever had. 11 goals and 13 assists. But here we have it. This is the 5th season of the simulation, and we've had 4 different Premier League winners. Hats off to Everton, the only team to defend the title, and I think the only team to be consistently in the top 2. Did they come second the first season? They did. They came second, first, second, and then second. Jorge Jesus, the manager. Again, apologies if I said that wrong. But let's simulate one more year into the future. Can Everton get back to top spot? Let's find out. Actually, no, let's not find out because I forgot to look at the championship. I'm going to press this button here because someone got annoyed in the comments that I haven't been doing it. I'll be honest, I forgot all about it. But here we are, just with one click of a button, we are in the championship. And Brentford beat Derby in the playoffs. For the second year in a row, Derby have lost the playoff final. But also going up, Cardiff City are back. I think they were in the Premier League the first season we had this simulation. They haven't been back since, but this time they've won the league. And they'll be joined by Preston coming straight back up. Any other teams of note here nearly got promoted? Birmingham, they haven't been in the Premier League for a long time, especially not in this simulation. Other than that, Barnsley have dropped off. Lincoln City are in the Championship now, so they could be one to watch. Sunderland haven't really progressed. I thought they might have kicked on, but they haven't. Now we can simulate a year into the future. Let's see what happens. How will Cardiff get on back in the Premier League? Let's find out. I'm sure that's what you're all dying to know. Alright, here we are, the 8th of June 2025. This is the final season we're going to look at today. as I always say, let me know in the comments if you want to see another part of this. I'm happy to keep going with it. It's fun, it's exciting. I mean, a few more years we could have someone like Reading winning the Premier League. But let me know. But as for this season, 2025, we have got another Premier League winner. It is Crystal Palace. I said before they were a team to look out for, and they have backed it up. 82 points. And Everton haven't even finished in the top 4. Sorry, I got giddy there. Hadn't even realised. But Crystal Palace, the champions of the Premier League, with Ryan Brewster leading the line, 19 league goals to win the Golden Boot in his first season at Selhurst Park. Cost £39 million from Sheffield United. Sheffield United, where they came 4th, they've even came in the Champions League. I think that's the best they've ever done. Have a little look. It is, they've been in the top half for most of this. They came 11th, 12th was the lowest, but they've got Nuno as the manager now. Chris Wilder's long gone apparently. And Sheffield United have convincingly finished 4th. Way clear of Everton. I bet there's been a managerial change there. Niko Kovac is the manager. What has gone wrong at Everton this season? Only coming 5th. I bigged them up to the hills, saying how consistent they'd been. And they let me down like that. Burnley are the new picture of consistency. 2nd in the Premier League. Burnley have been wonderful actually. 5th, 8th. Then they follow that with 2nd, 1st, 4th and back to 2nd. And it's all with Sean Dyche in charge. He's not changing things. Sure, the personnel's changed. They've got Yangel Herrera, that City lad. But I imagine they're still playing the same way. And they're getting the same results. If anything, they're getting better results. Because, I mean, now they're one of the biggest clubs in the country. They've got this guy, Ian Santos, a regen, who's been seemingly brilliant for them. And he only cost them £5 million. So well done, Ian. It's a strange name for someone from Portugal, but ours is not a question why. Well, look at the play stats there. One name sticks out like a sore thumb. Ansu Fati playing for Leeds United. Ansu Fati's playing for 9th place Leeds United. Let's see how he did. He cost £40 million from Barcelona, and what a debut season. 15 goals, 4 assists, 8 Man of the Match awards. The number 9 on his back at the age of 22. So, big names, as I say, still coming to the Premier League. Last season's champions, whoa, Brighton have came 8th. Is that the biggest drop-off we've had from a Premier League winner? They were all the way down in 8th. There's been a change of manager, Gianpiero Raimondi, who, as we all know, is actually Maurizio Sarri. Why his actual name isn't on the game, I don't know, but he's the man in charge. Patrick Vieira got the sack. Imagine being Brighton, winning your first ever Premier League, and sacking the man who delivered it. It's like when Leicester sacked Claudio Ranieri. Vieira's now wanted by Barcelona. I've called him Vieira, it's Vieira, not the striker, not Christian Vieri. So Brighton, down in 8th, very disappointing from them. Relegated from the Premier League. Cardiff have survived. Going down though, Norwich, Brentford and Preston. Preston, you just need to give it up, lads. This is the 2nd time they've been in the Premier League and they've done even worse. 14 points. David Moyes is the manager, it says it all, doesn't it? Only 14 points in the Premier League. Well, one thing to note there, the English Super League is no longer the top dog in world football. It's down to 2nd. It's almost like people are realising it isn't happening. But whatever, Newcastle down to 16th. They're a club you'd have thought would have kicked on. Could have made a real name for themselves with none of the big 6. They're one of the more established clubs, probably the biggest fan base now in the Premier League alongside Leeds, but they haven't done well at all. The best season they've had was 5th. Now Claude Puel's the manager, a man who looks a little bit like a bird. Well, let's have a look at the cup competitions, let's see what's happened. I'd like to think Aston Villa and Southampton have been involved in some way. In fact, let's have a look at Southampton, let's see. They must have won something. So let's have a look at the schedule. And Southampton won the FA Cup. They beat Burnley 2-0 in the final. Southampton turned into a bit of a cup specialist. I think that's a few they've won now. Let's have a look at the competition history. They won the 2025 FA Cup, which is this one. And in 2021 they won the League Cup. So they've won 2 trophies, so that's nice. Nice for them. They beat Burnley 2-0 in the final. Jack West and Mohamed Salisu with the goals. And I'll have a look at the League Cup. Southampton beating the quarter-final there by Forest. It was Aston Villa who won it. Let's go to the final. They beat Burnley. It could have been a brilliant season for Burnley, but they were beaten 3-2 in the final by Aston Villa in extra time. David Kovnacki with the winner. I'm just going to stumble all the way through that, I'm not bothered. Bertrand Traore and Victor Osimhen with the other goals. That's a big name for Aston Villa. £33 million. Actually, he's not doing that well. He hasn't played a lot of football, to be honest. So Burnley, beaten in both cup finals, and they came 2nd again. Picture of consistency, Burnley. Leicester City, let's see who the manager is there now. Paco Gemes. It's a name I recognise the name. I feel like I do know something about him. And it's just not coming to us. I think he was linked with the Newcastle job once upon a time. That's probably where I know him from. And they've got Leonardo Bonucci. He's 38 years old. Why have they got Leonardo Bonucci? And why is he doing so well? No other shocking finishes there. I'm happy that Cardiff have stayed up. So let's go to the Championship before we end by looking at the European places. For the third season in a row, Derby have been beaten in the playoff final. Christ, it must be rubbish to be a Derby fan. 2-2 they drew in the final with Birmingham City, and it was Birmingham City who won. Let's go to the title. Bristol City are back, and the perennial yo-yo club Bournemouth are following them back to the Premier League. 94 points, 5 shy of the title. And Michael Obafemi won the Golden Boot with 27 goals. That's a remarkable tally. Not more as remarkable as the price. Bristol City paid £54 million for him. Imagine that. Bristol City. They're probably only worth £54 million. But in this simulation where they've been a Champions League club, they can spend £54 million on a player. Crazy. I mean, are Bristol rich? Let's have a look. They are. They're very rich apparently. Has there been a takeover, or are they just rich? Can't see any mention of a takeover there, so clearly the owners have got a lot of money. But that's good for them. Well done. They'll be back in the Premier League next season. And they might win it. I mean, last time they came up, they nearly did. Back to the Premier League we go. Crystal Palace, the winners. A 5th winner out of 6 seasons. Like we say, Everton, the only team to defend it. Brighton really dropped off after winning it. Let's have a look at the Champions League. Let's see if anyone has done anything. Any English clubs? I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of progress. Bayern have won it this year, beating PSG in the final. We'll go straight to the group stage. And Burnley qualified once again up against Napoli, Krasnodar and Benfica. So Burnley seem to be getting to grips with Champions League football. I assume Sean Dyche is the manager. Yeah. Actually, we looked at that before, didn't we? Sorry, all these seasons are blurring into one. We'll scroll down. Brighton have made it through their group. Up against Barcelona, Genk and Rangers. That's much better from Brighton, even if they were so poor in the league. Everton dropped into the Europa. Should have made it through against Schalke, PSV and Copenhagen. And Crystal Palace didn't make it through their group either. Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid and Dinamo Kiev. But they made it into the Europa. So we'll come to that later. In the first knockout round, Brighton were knocked out by PSG. Were they the only ones that made it through? I think they were. No, sorry, Burnley. Burnley made it through, but they were knocked out in the first knockout round by Juventus. We'll go to the Europa League. Of course, Sevilla won the Europa League. Let's go to the group stage. See how the English clubs got on. Newcastle made it through to the knockouts. Came second in their group. Is there any other English representation? Wolves knocked out, despite winning the Conference League the year before. And I can't see anyone else. So we'll go to the knockout stages, see if there was any progress. Villarreal knocked Everton out straight away. Newcastle made it through against Krasnodar, so they're going to carry on. Was there any other? Crystal Palace knocked out Fenerbahce. To the second knockout round we're going. Newcastle still going, beat Wolfsburg on penalties. Crystal Palace still going as well. They beat Braga, a good win. Will this journey end? Quarterfinals. This is where it ends for the English teams. Crystal Palace were knocked out by Roma and Newcastle were knocked out by AC Milan. Disappointing for Newcastle. I mean, sure they haven't done well in the league, but at least they had a good cup run. Newcastle probably wouldn't care if they came 16th into the league if they were getting the quarterfinals of the Europa League. But there we have it. As we say, Crystal Palace, the Premier League champions in 2025. No big clubs in sight. At the minute, it looks like after 6 years, your big clubs are Burnley, Leicester and Everton. They're the only 3 I think you can consistently say are doing the business. Anywhere else it's anyone's game. Even Wolves aren't particularly doing too well. 5th, their best finish. Erik ten Hag, the manager now, so maybe they're one to watch in the coming years, but it's not looking great for them. But we will leave it there. That's another 3 years of that simulation done. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to keep this going, do another 3 seasons. If you want a part 3, just let me know in the comments below. I am more than happy to oblige. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.